Hello everyone, it's Lisa here and welcome back to Crochet with Lisa. Today I'm going to show you how I crocheted this cute bag. It is made from 10 granny squares sewn together. You can use almost any type of granny square for this bag. I would recommend ones that are around 6 or 7 inches squared and they have to end with a row of single crochet. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to crochet the granny square that I used for this bag. I'm not going to demonstrate it in these colors. My demonstration will be using these pinks and white. This demonstration square is crocheted using a 5mm crochet hook and acrylic yarn, whereas the bag is crocheted using a 5.5mm crochet hook and I use cotton yarn. But all of these yarns are a weight of 4. I hope that you find this video easy to follow. You enjoy making this bag as much as I did. Please like my video and subscribe to my channel to follow along with some other great projects. So keep watching if you want to use the same granny square that I did. I will demonstrate that next. Remember that you're going to have to complete 10 squares before assembling the bag. If you are using a different granny square, then just go get your 10 squares ready. Fast forward to the assembly stage of this video. So let's get started. So we'll begin with a chain 4. Now in that very first chain that we've made, just going to put a slip stitch in there. So we're going to form a ring. Now we're going to chain 4. So this chain 4 stands for a double crochet plus a chain 1. Now let's look for the middle of that ring. We're going to put a double crochet in there. And a chain 1. So we're going to repeat that for a total of 12 double crochets into our ring. So our first chain 4, which counted as a double crochet, chain 1, that's our first one. We've just made our second one. So we'll keep going until we have 12 double crochets into our ring. After the double crochet, you put a chain 1. I've just completed my 12th double crochet into the ring, done a chain 1. Now I'm going to slip stitch into the third chain from that beginning chain 4. Okay, so we'll fasten off. So now we're ready to start with our second color. So with your second color, you can join in any of your chain 1 spaces. I always like to tie my yarn. So just bring your hook through, grab a loop, pull it back. We're going to chain 3. So into that same space, we're going to do half of a double crochet. So we'll just pull through the first time, we'll leave the next 2 on our hook, yarn over, go through, pull through the first time. Now we have 3 on our hook, so we're going to yarn over and pull through all of them. So we've just made a cluster. This is a beginning cluster because it's at the beginning of our round. So chain 3. Now in each of these spaces we're going to put a 3 double crochet cluster. So to do that we'll do a half of our double crochet, so we're yarning over, we'll go through that space and we're just going to complete half of the double crochet, then we'll yarn over, go through the same space again, complete half of our next double crochet, yarn over, go through that space again, and we're completing just half of that double crochet. Now we have 4 on our hook. We're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through all 4. So we've just put 3 double crochets together in a cluster. So chain 3. We're going to do that again. So we're going to start like a double crochet, yarn over, we'll go through that space, pull back a loop, yarn over, we're completing half of our double crochet. Then we're going to start our next one, yarn over, go through that space, pull back a loop, we're doing another one, just completing half of it. We have 3 on our hook, yarn over, go through that space, pull back a loop, yarn over, go through 2. So now we have 4 on our hook, so yarn over, and we are going to complete that cluster. So between each of our double crochets, or in all of our chain 1 spaces from that row before, we are going to put a cluster of 3 double crochets. In between those clusters will be 3 chains. We will just continue that same pattern all the way around, and we'll meet back at the end of this row where we began. So I'm at the end of this round. I've just made my last chain 3, and so just going to join into the top of that first white cluster. We're going to fasten off. Okay, so that's our first 2 rounds finished. Going to join this first color back again. So just going to join in any of our chain spaces. So I like to tie my yarn on. We'll just yarn over, pull back a loop. We're going to chain 1, then single crochet in that same space. Chain 5. We're going to come to our next chain space and single crochet in there. Chain 5 and single crochet in our next chain space. So we're just going to continue that all the way around. Chain 5, single crochet in your next chain space. I'll meet you back here at the end of this round where we began. So I'm back at the beginning of this round, and we're just going to slip stitch into the top of that first single crochet. We can fasten off. So now we're ready for our third color. So in any of our chain 5 spaces, we're going to join. So we're going to join this with the single crochet, so yarn over, pull back a loop, chain 1, and then single crochet in that same space. So chain 5, we're going to go to our next chain space and we're going to do a single crochet in there, chain 1. So now we're going to make our corner. So we're going to our next chain 5 space. We're going to put 5 double crochets, chain 3, and then 5 more double crochets in that same space. So our corners, 5 double crochets, chain 3, 5 double crochet. At the end of our corner, we're going to chain 1, Then we're going to single crochet into this next chain 5 space, chain 5. We're going to single crochet into our next chain 5 space, chain 1. Now we're ready for another corner. So in the corner it's 5 double crochets, chain 3, 5 double crochets. So at the end of your corner and at the beginning of the corner we have a chain 1. So chain 1 after those 5 double crochets, then we're single crocheting in our next space, chain 5, single crochet in our next space, chain 1 because we're going to start our third corner. So just continue in this same pattern all the way around, and then I'll meet you at the end of this round where we started with our new color. I've just completed my 4th corner. I've done my chain 1, and so now just going to slip stitch into the top of that first single crochet. We're not going to fasten off, we're going to continue with this color. So we're going to chain 3. Then in our chain 5 space over here, we're going to put 3 double crochets. On the top of our single crochet that we have here, this stitch, we're going to put a double crochet there. Double crochet in this chain 1 space. That's the chain 1 space before our corner. Now we have 5 double crochets here. We're going to do a double crochet in the top of each of these. We're at our corner, chain 3 space, so in there we're going to put a double crochet, chain 3, and a double crochet. Okay, so now we're back to the 5 double crochet on the second half of our corner. We're going to put a double crochet in the top of each of these. Okay, so next to this we have a chain 1 space that we are going to put a double crochet in. Then we have that single crochet. We're going to put a double crochet in the top of that one. In our chain 5 space from the row before, we're going to put 3 double crochets. Double crochet on the top of that single crochet, double crochet in our chain 1 space. So we're just continuing the same pattern all the way around with our double crochets. So a double crochet on the top of each of these 5. In our corner it's a double crochet, chain 3, double crochet, and just continue along the side putting a double crochet in the top of all of these double crochets. Put a double crochet in the chain 1 space on top of our single crochets. In our chain 5 space there will be 3 double crochets, double crochet on top of the single crochet, double crochet in our chain 1 space, and then we're back to our corner again. So continue in this pattern, and then I will meet you back at the beginning of this round. Okay, I'm just at the end of this round, and I have finished with a double crochet in that chain 1 space. Now I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the top of that first chain 3. So we're finished with this color. Just fasten off. So now for our last round, we are going to join our first color. We can just join this in any stitch. We're going to join it with a single crochet. So I've just tied mine on, yarn over, chain 1, and then single crochet in that same space. So I'm just going to single crochet in the top of each of the double crochets all the way around. When we get to that chain 3 space in the corner, then we'll put 3 single crochets in there. So we'll just continue that all the way around, putting a single crochet at the top of each double crochet. So I'll meet you back here at the end of this round where we started this round. Just at the end of this round, we're going to join this round with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. And just fasten off. So the square is finished. All that's left to do is weave in all of these ends. So after you've completed 10 of these squares, now we're ready to start sewing them together. So we're going to take our squares, we're going to put the back sides together so the right sides are facing on both sides. Take our yarn. We're going to go through the corner stitch on both the front one and the back one. Pull the yarn through. Just going to tie a half knot there. So we're going to go back through that same space, yarn over, pull back a loop, we're going to chain 1 and then do a single crochet in that same space. So we've gone through the front and the back square. So we're just going to go to our next single crochet over on the front one and on our back one. So the matching single crochet, it's hard to see with this black here, but we're just going to do a single crochet. So yarn over, pull through, and then just do a single crochet. We're going to find our next single crochet from the front, the next one from the back, and we're just going to do a single crochet through there. So that's what we're going to do all along this side. We're just going to match our front single crochet to our back one and single crochet all the way across till we get to this corner. So then I'll meet you over there. So I'm just at the end of this row over here at the corner. So we're just going to fasten off. Open this up. So you'll notice that your ridge along here with your single crochets kind of fall to one side. You can just kind of pull that over and make it stand up in the middle. Okay, so that is 2 of our squares attached. You will need to sew together 2 sections that are 2 blocks together, and then 2 other sections that are 3 blocks together. Okay, when you have those put together, we'll meet back here and we'll look at our next step. For our next step, we're going to take a 3 block section and a 2 block section. We're going to line them up like this. Again, we have our good sides facing out. So we're going to lay them back to back. So this is wrong sides in the middle. And we're going to sew along the same, we're going to sew along this section here the same way that we did along here. So we're going to sew these 2 blocks to these 2 blocks. Starting in this bottom corner over here. So sewing using a single crochet stitch all the way along. Make sure these black lines match up and all the way to the end of this second block. When you get that done, we'll meet again, talk about our next step. I'm back and I have sewn together these squares. I've raised my camera up a little bit to help you see a little bit better. But we've got 1, 2, 3, and then our 2 are sewn over here. So what we're going to do now, again, this is the front of our work. We're going to close it together and we're going to sew across the bottom. Okay, so up here we've got a square that's doesn't have one next to it. This is our 2 squares. And so here's our bottom. We're going to sew across the bottom. Okay, once you do that, we'll meet back again and we'll talk about our next step. Okay, when you have the bottom part sewn, then half of this bag is put together. You need to sew the other 5 in the same way. And just to show here, this is the way the bag is going to lay. This here is my 1, 2, 3 strips, 1, 2. And here is that side that we just sewn together. Okay, so you can put this one aside, do the other half, and then we will meet back here and we will sew both halves together. Okay, now that you have both halves sewn together, and remember we just took the bottom where we have these 2 sewn together, these 2 sewn together. Even from the inside we can just turn it that way. So we have this little point down there. So I have this one with the back facing to me. This corner down here is the right side facing to me. So this is the inside of the bag, outside of the bag. Take our other one, our other half. We're going to lay it on top of that one. So this V up here, this is the top of our bag. Down here where we have those folded corners, this is the bottom of our bag. So here we can see that the front of our bag, we're laying that right over the back of our bag. Okay, so we have three of these squares that we see fully in front of us, and then we have 2 halves in this corner because they're folded in half, 2 halves over here because they're folded in half. So now we have to sew these 2 squares together. So this one to this one to this one. So we'll do that first and then we'll flip the bag over. It'll just be less confusing if I tell it to you that way. So this one here to this one, and then this one to this one. Then we'll meet back and we'll flip the bag over and we'll finish off the other side. So I just finished sewing down this line, so from here to here. Now I'm just going to flip the bag over, turn it. There we go. And I just have to finish sewing along here. So just along two more edges of the squares, so these two, and then this one right here. Okay, so when we get that done, we'll meet back here, and then we can look at putting the strap on this bag. Now that all of our ends have been woven in, we're going to start with the handle. So I'm going to go back to my main color, my green. I'm going to join over here on the side. It's right down here in this corner. Just going to tie my yarn on. So put my hook through, pull back a loop, chain one, single crochet in that same space. Now I'm going to single crochet all along this edge, one single crochet in each of these single crochets. I've put a single crochet in all of these single crochets from my beginning place here to the top of this square. Now I'm going to chain, and this chain is going to form the handle. So the handle will leave here. I'll do a chain, and it's going to connect over here. So I'll go ahead and make as many chains as I think I would like for the handle of this bag. You can certainly make your handle longer or shorter, it's completely up to you. I'll just come right back and I'll tell you what I've decided for this bag. Okay, so I've made 55 chains. So my chains come off this corner. Make sure they're not twisted. And then I'm going to join this chain the same side on this corner, so the top of this square. Just with a single crochet. I'm going to do a single crochet all the way down this side. So when you get to the end of this side, we're down here in that kind of bottom corner on the side. Just going to single crochet in all of these stitches. Make sure you get right in that corner. And then we're just going to start coming up on the back. So we can turn the bag over. Now we're working on the other side of the bag. So we're just going to single crochet all the way up to this corner, repeating what we did on the other side. I'm going to chain 55 from this corner and attach it over at this corner. Then I'm going to single crochet all the way down here, and we'll be back at where we started. So I'll meet you back over here, just at the end of this first round. So I'm back here where I started. Got my last single crochet there. This is my first single crochet. So I'm just going to slip stitch into it. Chain one, and then I'm going to single crochet in that same space. I'm going to single crochet again in each single crochet all the way along this edge, and then I'll meet you here when we get to the chain. I'm just at the chain. So I've just finished crocheting along the side of this square for the second time. Now I'm at the chain. So in the chain, I'm going to do a single crochet in each chain all the way across to this side. I'm just going to single crochet in one loop of the chain. To me it's just a little bit easier, and I'm going to use the other loops later when I crochet the bottom part of this handle. So you should have the same number single crochets that you had chains. So I had 55. I should have 55 single crochets as I go across this chain. So I will meet you when I'm finished the chain over at this side. Okay, I'm just finished my chain and I have 55 single crochets there. So you should have as many single crochets as you had chains. So for this round, just continue single crocheting in the top of each single crochet all the way around your bag. When you get to the back side, get to the chain over here, you're going to do the same thing that you did on this side. And when we get back to the beginning place, the beginning of our round, just slip stitch into that first single crochet, chain one, and then single crochet back into that same space. Just continue going around and around until your strap is as wide as you would like for it to be. So I will do mine 4 or 5 times, and then I will come back and show you how it's going. So I'm just finishing up this part of the strap. I've done 5 rows of the green, and then I did 1 row of my contrast color, the black. So at the end of this row, I just did a slip stitch, and I'm just going to fasten it off. So slip stitch into that first single crochet. So now I'm going to move to this part. So I'm back at the front. Just going to single crochet all the way up here along the inside bottom part of this, of the handle, over here, back around. So you can start here, you can start along the side. It doesn't really matter where you start. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put a single crochet in each of my stitches all the way around with the black. I have finished crocheting the black on the inside all the way around, and I did it on both sides. So the handles are now finished. You can make these handles as wide as you want or as narrow as you want. I did 1 round of black for the inside. You could do 2 or 3 to make it a little thicker. So this bag is complete now. I really hope you enjoyed following along this tutorial. You found it easy to follow. Please like my video, subscribe to my channel, and you can follow along with some other great projects. So have a great day and happy crocheting!